Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 86 of the hunt today. Today we are still in Frontier. At the start of this hunt this morning, I noticed a couple adorable little seals at the base camp, so I spent a couple seconds just taking a look at those so you can appreciate them as well, because they're adorable, they're great, they're lovely. Bring those back, Capcom. But today we are fighting the monster that we are fighting today is a subspecies of Abiarugu who we fought early on in the frontier journey. This one is an ice-based Abiarugu called Giarugu. Giarugu is a brute wyvern with a similar stature to something like Deviljho, Uragan, and more famously Glavenus, even though all of the Abiarugu, Giarugu, species came out in the game before Glavenus did. So while Glavenus may have popularized the swordtail, Abiarugu is the progenitor, and Giarugu is, I guess, in that way, kind of like the acidic Glavenus of Glavenus and all that comparison. But Abiarugu is a brute wyvern with a massive swordtail and commands the ice element. It does a lot of what Abiarugu already does, with a lot of big, powerful physical attacks using its sword as a weapon, a lot of big sweeping slices, some powerful charges and stomps with its big ol' legs. But where Giarugu kind of differs from Abiarugu is it seems to favor using its elemental attacks a lot more than Abiarugu does. Abiarugu had fire, and it would incorporate fire into some of its attacks, but for the most part it was relegated to one big powerful burst attack, whereas Giarugu incorporates ice into a lot more. It has a ice beam that does something really cool that I think more breath beam weapons should do in Monster Hunter, where it starts off very thin and narrow, and then as Abiarugu puts more power, when Giarugu puts more power into it, it widens. Meaning, you can get comfortable kind of going in and being yes, I'll be able to hit the head from right here because, I won't be in danger. And then, oh no, the beam widens and you get knocked away. I think that's cool. I think my favorite move that it incorporates ice into is it will release this, freezing gas in front of it, making a full-on iceberg directly in front of it, that if you are stuck in the middle of, you will get the snowman status, you won't be able to move as fast, it'll be harder to dodge. And Giarugu will then charge in, shatter the iceberg, dealing a bunch of damage, and it is a really cool move. I really like it. It also has a move that incorporates ice in a way that I don't quite understand. It is kind of a one-hit KO move as well, which I am not a fan of in games, but I get why they exist in MMOs. He will do a spin with the sword, which will auto-stun you, then knock you into the air, let you sit there for a couple seconds thinking okay, so I'm going to need to land on the ground and I'll be fine and I'll just lay there and I won't get hit by the follow-up. But no, he does this big blast of cold air directly in front of you while you're in the air. And unless you are at full health or at the threshold where guts will activate and leave you at 1, it'll kill you. It's how I cart in this hunt, and it was kind of disappointing. But I think I love all of its ice moves, but my favorite thing that it does, in general, it's got those big old Stegosaurus spikes, and it uses those like an Uragan does to roll up into a ball and wheel at you. When we were fighting Uragan, I talked about how I love any monster that, turns itself into a projectile, and Giarugu rolling up into a ball with its big old Stegosaurus spikes, plowing at you, and then following up with some ice-based attacks, that is a winning combination for me. I really like Giarugu. Why do I keep wanting to call him Abiarugu? Because Giarugu just does not roll off the tongue very well for me. So keep a count on how many times I screw up his name, I guess. I really like Giarugu. I think he's cool. I would love to see him come back. He's only really going to come back if Abiarugu does. In hindsight, before I started recording this, I probably should have watched my Abiarugu video to see what rating I gave him, but we're not doing any of this for consistency, we're just riffing over here. So I am going to say, for coming back in Wilds, I think if Abiarugu comes back, Giarugu has a very good opportunity. The only thing that's kind of holding me back is, at least the stuff that I have seen, I've not seen anything ice related. I've only seen the desert, and I've only seen like 10 seconds of Scarlet Forest when they showed off Lalabarina for the first time. So I'm gonna say maybe like a 4 or 5 for Gyarugu to return. You know, whether or not Abiarugu returns. If Abiarugu comes back, it's a lot higher. But because I haven't seen any ice stuff yet, I gotta assume there's going to be there, because they can't just not have ice monsters. Yeah, it's gotta be like a 4 or 5 for now, just with the information that I have. Then for coming back in a future game, I think Gyarugu is a really good bet. One thing that might make Abiarugu and Gyarugu a lot lower on the will they come back chart is the fact that there was a very well-known and well-received fan mod for Monster Hunter World that brought Abiarugu into Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World Resurgence, I think it's called. I haven't played it. I don't play on PC. And I know for a fact that corporations and companies like watch that kind of stuff. And if a fan makes a very public mod and puts it out there, companies are less incentivized to make that thing official for fear of legal backlash. Like someone saying like, hey, we can't put this into the game now because somebody made this, and if we do something too similar to what this fan made, they could try and come after us, and they would lose. Like, they're taking Capcom's intellectual property and doing something different with it, so they would lose that legal fight, most likely, but companies don't want to be caught up in those kind of battles. So that alone might make both of those monsters coming back a lot lower on the totem pole. But it's hard to say for sure. Yeah, I am going to kind of wrap up the ramble there for today. I am going to be honest with y'all. I've hit kind of a mental wall with Frontier. And there's still monsters I want to show off. There's still monsters I want to hunt. But I'm going to think about it a lot today. I might take a break from Frontier, from posting Frontier Hunt-A-Days for a little bit until I get to a new monster I want to. But I have been blasting through Frontier at a pace that I try to avoid in most Monster Hunter games, and it just hit me this morning how much of a toll that has taken on my willingness to want to play the game. I think a lot of it has to do with just the amount of content there is. There are so many quests, so many hunts, and there's a lot of good like community resources out there, but it's also hard to know like, okay, what do I need to be doing? And there's just so much grinding. Like, it is an MMO, and they want to keep people playing for hours and hours and days and months and years and blah, 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 blah. But good God, it is overwhelming how much you have to do, how much you have to grind in this game. So I'm going to take a step back from Frontier, I think, starting maybe after Christmas. I still have a couple hunts I want to show off in Frontier. And then I might do, including a specific Christmas-themed event quest that I want to do for Christmas Day, spoilers. But then after that, I might jump back into Generations or World, maybe Rise. There's a couple of monsters I still want to show off in that before Wilds releases that I think have a good chance of making it in. But yeah, so that's kind of an update on how this whole thing is going. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please feel free to stick around until the end of the hunt if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see you next time.